we dated in college, and we were dating like before I had a social media anything. Like I was just like a random pre-med DJ
She's
kid.
a doctor.
Yeah, I'm a doctor. I literally duped her.
Where's the white coat?
Psych, we have no money. I did MMA and then I wrestled in high school.
You know, I actually saved some fun. Sachin's all smiley, but he can like fuck you up. Like Sachin can legit fuck you up. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Can I hold this?
Sure, it's sponsored.
Sponsored. Cut me the check if I did you sponsor. Give me that.
I'm a
First thing I
55
noticed-
inch, but that didn't get a big
This is a
TV.
fucking.
How do you like looking at yourself?
That's a whole thing.
I don't like looking at myself.
I don't either. It's so
Because
cringe.
it's like, especially after TV got like when they film you and it's all HD, you're like, God damn, you can see the pimple with the makeup on? God damn.
Yeah.
Like it's such good quality now. What time you go to bed?
Last night I actually got some sleep, so I went to bed at like 11:30.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Decent time.
I was out, dude. I was feral last night.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's why I was like, woke up, I was crusty as shit. I'm like, dude, I gotta figure this out.
Second, so when that shows up, I'm gonna start wrapping up stuff. All right.
Perfect.
Oh, that's cool.
You're like, can I drink something?
Yeah.
Can I steal something here?
I'll be like, hey, let's do a quick intro for audio listeners, and you can like intro yourself. Yeah. And we can go start with her. Work our way down.
Perfect, man.
What's going on, guys? My name's Tarun Shetty. Welcome to the CONVO Sutra, here with another fantastic episode. So excited for our guest, but let's do a quick intro for audio listeners.
Hi, my name is Nihan. I'm an actor, producer.
I'm Pritesh, actor, comedian, producer.
What's up, guys? I'm Sachin. I sketch write and I am an actor.
Sachin, thanks for coming on the podcast, man. We just did a little sketch, and let me tell you, your energy is off the chart.
I appreciate it. Dude, that was actually so fun. Like,
For people who don't know, Sachin's got a great presence on social media, and check out his stuff on social media. It's so hilarious, and I'm so happy that you're on the podcast.
dude, thank you, man. Thank you for hitting me up. Thank you for like letting me come here. This is sick. This is like when I first came here, I'm like seeing this setup. I'm like, this is really dope. You have the whole thing going, which is cool.
Yeah, and you and Pritesh actually know each other, right?
Do you know what's so crazy? We met at a headshot. I was getting remember we got a headshot?
Oh, dude, I
So
forgot
this
about
was
that.
that was the most Indian moment because I was just wrapping up and then he walks in to get his headshots and we both looked at it. It was like a Bollywood movie.
Yeah.
We saw each other like, hey. And I was like, oh, dude. He's like, I'm an actor. I'm like, yeah, I'm doing that too. And then that's how we exchanged info.
Dude, that's crazy. I
Yeah.
completely forgot that happened. I remember that exact moment too when I walked in and I see you because I think you had like, I don't know if you had like makeup on or whatever, but you looked so
makeup
good. Like,
Nice.
Pritesh looked amazing and he was leaving and I was about to go in. I'm like, oh my God, this poor headshot guys have to deal with me. Like after seeing him, I'm like, oh my God. It just made me so like insecure. Like,
Are you serious?
dude, it did. I'm not gonna lie. Like this was like the first year I moved to LA too. So I was like,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Where'd you move from?
I moved from Michigan.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, long way from home.
Yeah.
Michigan State, right?
I went to Michigan State. Yeah. So I was born in. I had a weird upbringing. I was born in Iowa, out of all
What?
places. Like
Okay.
the worst place ever.
No
I've been
Indians?
to Iowa.
No Indians, negative Indians. Like that's actually not the place for any colored
Yeah.
person ever. I went from Iowa to Amsterdam, which was like a huge like
Wow.
huge change. Yeah. Lived in Amsterdam for like 4.5, 5 years. No, almost like 4 years actually. Then moved to Michigan, did like high school, university, and then I came out here like 4 years ago.
Amazing.
Yeah, random.
Wait, what took your family to Amsterdam?
Dude, so my dad's in pharmaceuticals. And so he had this company, like he worked at this company in Iowa. And then this European pharmaceutical company bought it out. So it's a company called Wyatt. And they bought it out. So we moved to Amsterdam. And we were like, you know, like expats, like, you know, like, so we were like expats essentially. And then Pfizer bought that company out. So then brought us to Michigan. And then I came out here just because like, I don't know.
But I did my
Yeah.
research.
Oh, yeah.
You were on a traditional path of doing pre-med and genetics and all that stuff, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
dude.
that's cool.
But Tarun, like you're out
Yeah.
here, bro.
If I were to see you, I would not be like, this guy was like a pre-med dude in
Dude,
college.
you know, it's actually so like,
That's
it's
hilarious.
actually kind of, it's
That's
actually
hilarious.
so
Tarun's like,
sad.
Sachin, you look
like,
stupid.
This guy, like, you know what's so funny is because it's like, this actually happened recently when like I was with a friend and he's like, dude, there's no way you were about to be pre-med. And like, it's almost like they laugh at the fact. I'm just like, damn, like actually low-key kind of like, I'm like, bro, I could do it. Like, but yeah, you're right, dude. I was on the track to be pre-med, dude. I actually graduated with a degree in neuroscience and I was like doing
Amazing.
theater on the side. Yeah, dude, it was like a whole journey. And then, you know, one thing led to another and just found my way here, dude.
But
When
do you
did
do
you-
everything?
When did you make the jump?
I actually made the jump at the worst possible time. I graduated in 2020 when like COVID happened. And then I was like, this is the time I'm gonna pivot out of this when like no jobs are available. Everyone is suffering. I'm like, yeah, it's probably a good time. So the one thing I have, I'm just gonna like cancel it.
Just gonna be an actor now.
Yeah. I was in this like, well, the thing is I always had this sort of, I felt like I've always had this creative edge. I've always found myself doing creative things, like played the violin. I used to write comic books as a kid.
You play the violin?
Yeah, for like
That's very
15
impressive.
years. Yeah, I DJ in college. Like I was just super like into creative stuff. And for whatever reason, I thought that I was just weird in comparison to the pool of Indians in Michigan because no one does that. It's like not
fair.
a common thing. You come to LA, like you got people like Pritesh, Tarun, like you guys like are doing creative things. It's like super normal to see. You
Here
guys.
you're weird if you're an engineer.
Yeah, like you're like, dude, you're a doctor. Oh my god.
I'm like, I
Go to
decided
Michigan.
to learn how to play the harmonica this week. So
That's
where I'm at.
That's it. That's like
Yeah.
you wouldn't find that like that. You couldn't even find that instrument in Michigan. Like
Yeah.
And I think I found myself in this like weird sort of bubble where I'm like, okay, like I got to do this pre-med thing because that's the only thing that keeps me normal, right? But then like over time, I think like I just started like this like thing that I was trying to suppress, like this creative side of me. Like it just kept coming out in different forms. So like I was like DJing and stuff, and then I'm like, I gotta like focus on education. And then like content came. And then like all this like acting came. And so it was a lot of like, it just kept like coming in my face. Like, whoa, pause.
Whoa.
Pause,
No Diddy.
pause, whoa,
No Diddy.
Whoa. And it was just like, it was just insane, man. So then I pivoted out. I was in an MCAT class. And I remember literally the moment where I saw, I was like, this is not for me, was when this guy, we were paired up in these groups, and he was like, he's like, I can't wait to get my white coat on and be a doctor. I'm sitting there, I'm just like, dude, I can wait. Like, I'm not here now. Like, I could totally wait. And then it hit me, dude. And it was, and then made the jump.
That's cool.
Came here. Yeah.
How do your parents feel though now?
Dude, they're actually super supportive.
Really?
Yeah, surprisingly. Like,
That's so
I was
nice.
actually super happy at the fact that my parents were like, my dad always has this quote. He's like, I don't care what you do, but do it like 100%. Like, he's like, don't half-ass it.
Yeah.
He's like, if you're gonna like be wishy-washy, then like you're doing a disservice to everybody. It's like, if you're gonna do it, just do it.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I kind of grew into that environment. And I think like, you know, when they started to see the fruits of my labor, I guess, like quote unquote, like seeing things that are numerical, like a follower count or something like, you know, whatever, something that they can latch
Your
onto.
dad checking your follower count?
Yeah, like, oh, bro. But like, you know, I think
Such like, this is my white coat.
I'm like, this is it. This is my white coat. This is actually a blue check.
Yeah.
I think that, like, you know, like when it comes to like, I feel like Desi parents, like they just need something to like understand, to bridge the understanding of like what you're doing, because it's an uncommon thing. So like there was one time I remember when I was at the temple and this kid came up to me and he was like, dude, I watch your videos. Like, this is great. And it was in front of my parents. And I was like, kind of like low key, I'm like, Dad, look, like it's happening. Like, this is like the first time this has happened. And I think that's when it kind of like really started to resonate. They're like, okay, like I'm starting to understand like kind of what this is.
That's awesome.
You could have done this in Michigan though, but you wanted to come out here as an actor.
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like, I mean, it's like a whole thing. Pretty much what ended up, like my mom, she works for Delta. So I was able to get like standby tickets because I was just able to like hop on the plane and just like go wherever. So I used to do that in college. I used to actually vlog my travels. I used to go to like, I went to like the World Cup for stuff, like just hopped on a plane to Paris and like I went to the World Cup. And then the next day I flew back. And I used to do stuff like this on the weekends, like while I'm in school. And then what I would do is I would email casting directors in LA and I'm like, yo, I'm based in LA, whatever. And they're like, okay, cool. I come out to this thing next week or 2 days. I'm like, great. And then I'll be like, Mom, like, can you like book me a flight, like a plane ticket to LA?
Hold on,
So
but when you
clutch.
email casting directors, what were you asking for?
Dude, I was like, it was the most amateur thing ever because I'm.
But
just
it
like-
worked.
It was like coffee meetings or like let's sit down, like have a discussion about whatever, and like, or if I see like an open casting call, I'd be like, hey, like I'm interested in this, and it was like, you know, never like any massive things, but it was like small independent.
No, but that's ballsy.
Yeah, it was really ballsy.
That's
dude. I didn't know
awesome.
what I don't think I'd do it now, but I think at
Yeah.
the time I was like, I don't know, I don't care. I'm just gonna like let it rip and see what happens. And then I would hop on the plane, dude. And for my mom, she thought that I was staying at my friend's house. I don't have any friends in LA,
They always
so I would
do.
sleep in the airports. And I would rent like the thing is because of my upbringing, kind of in Amsterdam, I was only used to hostels, and like I never really stayed at hotels or anything. So I would go to like Santa Monica, and I had no concept of geography, by the way. So I'd go from the airport to Santa Monica at a hostel, shower, and then like go to where I need to go. Even though it doesn't make sense like logistically, like I just thought like that was the
I love
route.
it.
No, but that just shows
Yeah.
like you already had work ethic from the
Yeah.
beginning without calling it work ethic.
Right.
Because it's go, 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 right?
Yeah, totally.
And it's like in this business, I feel like it's really easy to get lost because no one's holding you accountable.
Yeah.
So you have to hold yourself accountable.
dude, it's so true,
Right?
man. Yeah,
There's
absolutely.
no like levels of okay, you graduate and then you do this. It's all over the map.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, yeah, it was like you just kind of have to like do. I mean, like, what about you guys? Like, are you guys like? I would love to hear a little bit more, kind of like your journey, like kind of like what was your work ethic?
It's
like?
about you, baby.
Yeah.
No, but you know what's so funny? What you were saying
Yeah.
about the white coat and the doctor thing.
Yeah.
I have a friend who's a like Simon Cowell's writing partner. Like writes huge hit songs, super successful, very wealthy. And his parents still, when they all get together, his parents will be like, "Look at her son, he's a doctor." And he's like, "Mom, I just bought you a house. Like I bought you guys 2 homes cash. Like, do you know how rich I am? And like I could buy his hospital." And the mom's like, "But he's a doctor."
But he's a doctor. You can't cure me. But he can't cure me.
I always say like my dad would be mad if I played a blue collar guy even on TV.
I know.
He's like, "You're playing a mechanic," you know.
That's so true.
She's actually from Turkey.
You're
Yeah.
from Turkey?
Yeah.
I'm from
Oh my
Turkey.
gosh!
Yeah.
Wow, one of my best friends from Turkey. Where are you
Nice.
from in Turkey?
I'm from Adana, which is like south of Turkey.
Okay.
And it's like a smaller city than Istanbul.
Okay, wow.
It has like LA vibes a little bit as
Yeah,
far as
yeah.
like the weather, but going back to like you moving to Iowa,
Yeah.
we moved to Burgaw, North Carolina.
Oh my God! Yeah.
And I'm just like, yeah, I have a very interesting upbringing as well.
Her mom also works for Turkish Airlines.
Are you serious?
She had a standby
No,
ticket.
I fucking wish.
I was gonna say, I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
That is so. Hold on. When you say standby in Delta,
Yeah.
is that free?
Yeah. Well, not anymore. So before I was 25, it was. So you can literally, if you were a Delta employee, like if you were the son or like kids or like I guess like partner of like a Delta employee, you can like you have priority to like hop on a plane if there's like an empty seat. So, but there's like different prioritization. So like if a pilot, for example, is like, hey, I need to make this flight for whatever, they obviously jump to the front.
Yeah.
Or like if a Delta employee comes like and they're like, we need to go to this plane, like they jump to the top. But it was like for me, it was like a game because I was like, I'm gonna pack a backpack and just see where I end up. So there was times with my brother and I, we were trying to go to Tokyo. We ended up in London.
Amazing.
And we're like, this is kind of fun. Like we were just, and it's like, you know, it was like, I'm like, yeah, it was
crazy, dude.
It was crazy.
And they just
dude.
stayed hostels.
Dude, I would just like figure it out when I got there.
That's amazing.
And I was so cheap that I was like, I don't want to pay for Wi-Fi on the plane. So I was like, when I got there, I was hoping that there was Wi-Fi like in the airport. And if not, then like I'm staying at the airport.
I've done hostels before.
Yeah.
I'm graduate. I can't do it.
Yeah, I did it
can't
in
do
Spain.
hostels, dude.
It wasn't that bad in Spain though.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
They're fun. They're so fun.
I feel like I'm gonna get murdered in a hostel.
I think it depends because like I've heard like some crazy stories at hostels, but like, dude, some of these hostels are like made for like backpackers. And, like they have like bars and stuff, and it's for like young people to like kind of
Or
just,
wild sex.
yeah, or just
But
that. Yeah,
But that's what happened when
Yeah, literally.
I stayed at a hostel. This is when I was studying abroad in Sydney.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what happened. We're
Wild
going to
sex.
bed, and there was like 10 people, and 3 of them were having sex,
Bro.
Oh,
And
no.
I was like, dude,
Nope.
look. First of all, no one wants. It's not attractive unless you're participating in the activity. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I don't get turned
Yeah.
on hearing other people. I just want to sleep, dude.
Yeah.
I know, dude. I feel you, man. It's funny enough. I studied abroad in Australia too.
Where?
I went to Brisbane.
Oh, you.
Yeah,
Brisbane
yeah.
reminds me of San Diego.
It does. It
Yeah,
really does. You
I
know what's
traveled
funny?
through
I
there.
actually talked to someone about that exact.
Yeah?
Yeah. And then Sydney reminded me of New York.
Yep.
Like, yeah, like SF New York vibes. Like
And did you when you went to, what's it called in New Orleans?
Mardi
Mardi
Gras.
Gras, right?
Yeah.
So they have Mardi Gras in Sydney.
Oh, amazing.
So I thought Mardi Gras was like, I've never done Mardi Gras in America. Let's go, right? It's a gay pride parade.
Oh.
Very different than the what
very
we got
different.
going on. So I was like, oh, let's get some beads, bro. It's about to go down. It's like dudes in soap, half naked, and I was like, this is not the party I thought.
dude, I didn't know that. That's
And then,
That's
then one of the
hilarious.
guys says, yeah, mate, 25% of Sydney's gay.
Is it really?
That was like such a country,
I was
like
why do you
Australian
sound
accent.
like that?
Because it's not good, my accent. All right, just let me. I'm trying to get a point across.
Go for it. It was
Well,
great.
this is a good transition for your vlog stuff. I want to plug that because
Yeah.
you do incredible
Oh,
vlogs.
dude, thank you.
Honestly, I watched like your vlogs like last night. Like you got your wisdom teeth pulled, and there's other stuff where you go to like Indian restaurants, and you
Yeah.
have like these Desi like singers on your.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Dude, thank you, man.
I'm sure you're a great actor, but I'm like your personality is so vibrant.
Oh, dude.
on
Thank
the
you
vlog.
so
So,
much.
is that something you want to get into, like more travel stuff?
Yeah, you know, it's so I actually started vlogging when I was in college. And I think I stopped because I was vlogging like these travels, going to like random places and just like backpacking around and just I had no intention of like building like this following or whatever. I just kind of thought it was fun and just have like this track record of like memories. But I stopped doing it because I'm like, dude, this ruins every moment ever. Like I'd be having a really cool moment with people that I just met, and I'd be like, wait,
Let's vlog.
And it's just like they'd be like, and
Say
I'm
that
like,
again. Say that again.
Yeah, like say that again. The exact same way. And like it would just like kill the vibe. And I think I was all about just like being present in like what I was doing. So the reason why I'm doing it now is because I think I have a good community of people who like it's not awkward when you pull out the camera. Like everyone here is like creative. It's like super normal. But I also like am very intentional about like what I vlog. So it's like a concept. Like for example, like I did like going to like the cheapest, the most expensive Indian restaurants in LA.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw that.
And so like that was something that like it's a day shoot, like where everyone who is involved is like on, like we know we're vlogging, like that's the thing. But like the next day it's not like we're vlogging. You know what I mean? Like we're like normal, everyone's happy, like we're just chilling. But you have to be intentional.
Because you're an influencer though, do you feel like that constant pressure to like upkeep material and content? Because we've had people on here and they're like, it's a machine, like having to just keep this fire burning.
Yeah, totally, man. I think like, yeah, it ebbs and flows. And I think like one of the hardest things is like exactly like you said, like building that machine, building that like framework of like, you know, these sketches that I do, right, are not just like fun and games. Like you have to treat it like this is like the real thing. Like you have to treat it as if this is like the most legitimate thing you're doing, and like put as much energy and effort into like the writing, the casting, to production, to editing. Like every detail needs to be like aligned. And like we have shoot dates planned like pretty much every Saturday we shoot usually, and like we try to keep like momentum going. So yeah, it's like it's definitely you feel the pressure, but at the same time too, like I don't know, man. I think like I'm all about just like if I don't feel like it doing it, man.
Yeah.
I'm just not gonna do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like
you I think there's a pivot point. Like you first is that, then you kind of go with your intuition and your gut more because you can trust it. You have all the baseline.
Exactly.
But do you stay? I was gonna ask you because you're in a relationship.
Yeah.
How do you just put the camera down like when you're with your girlfriend and
Totally.
you're completely present?
Yeah. So what's interesting is like, yeah, I've been in a relationship for 7 years.
Wow.
6 years, 6 or 7 years. We dated in college, and we were dating like before I had a social media, anything. Like I was just like a random pre-med DJ kid.
That sounds like a doctor.
Yeah, that sounds like a doctor. I literally duped her.
Where's the white coat?
Psych, we have no money. Like, yeah. And so I think like over time, as I'm building out, you know, as I'm, you know, being young and building out this relationship, I'm also building out my endeavors and creative like pursuits. And so you're trying to like build these bridges as you're walking on them. She's so supportive when it comes to these types of things. And I think we've built this sort of trust and understanding of like, hey, this is like our time and this is like work time, right? Like
That's great.
I'm not always shooting every day, all day. It's like we have days that we do that.
Is she also a creative?
She's not. She's actually a teacher. So
amazing.
Yeah.
She's actually really
She's-
smart.
Yeah,
awesome.
she's actually.
I met her.
Yeah.
She's a smart one. I was telling Tarun earlier because I like that because like you're young, good looking dude doing your thing.
man. Yeah.
And I was telling him, I think if you find someone that like her, don't let that go.
Right.
I mean, natural things take their course, but I feel like a lot of people will come in as content creators or whatever, and they look at LA and they want their options available, and they let go of something that's solid. Right. So I always like that about you.
Dude, thank you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. I think it definitely helps having someone who's especially not in the industry, who just like, you kind of go back to reality. You know what I mean? Like after you're done shooting, after you're done this stuff, you're like, oh, let's just watch like a movie. And like,
She's
talk
like,
about
empty the dishwasher.
Yeah, literally. Like actually. And you're like talking about things that are not related to like content all the time.
I feel like when I date people who are in the business, they get it, you know? Because
Yeah.
otherwise it's hard. Like I'm always like, oh, I'll date an accountant and stuff. But then I'm talking about my day and they have no idea or the frustrations you go
Yeah.
through. So,
But you always
be-
say that though,
it
but
could
don't
be-
you feel like it would be a counterbalance to like ground you because you're already in your artistic mind all the time?
yeah.
Don't you feel like that would be a time with a girl that's not in the business would be not the business?
I've tried it. It just didn't work out. Or they couldn't understand like the scope of how frustrating, how hard this business is.
I think it really depends, honestly, because it can work for certain couples. It's such a like personality thing.
And
In
I
my
also
opinion.
think it's because like you are already kind of in the space and you're meeting someone in as like an accountant or whatever, but like we kind of grew into it together. So it's like when you grow into something, like I wasn't a creative, like I was creative, but like I wasn't doing anything like related to like this lifestyle back in college. And she was like trying to be a teacher in college. So like we're both building the bridges. So like you begin to kind of like understand the struggles of either party because like you're growing together in the same way, brick by brick.
What's weird now is like a lot of these nurses and like dentists, they have followers of their own. Like they're
Everyone has a follow group.
It's like even when you have like a real job, you're still like a social media presence. So you got to deal with that now.
Dude,
But let me ask you, I want to go back to that. Let's say you're dating an accountant, right? Your girlfriend's an accountant.
Yeah.
You're telling me if she's telling you the frustrations of her day from her corporate job, you can't
And I'm
understand.
like, what are you talking about?
But you don't need to understand
I'm
exactly your
kidding.
job. That's what I'm saying. So why she doesn't understand your job? You're like, oh, my partner's frustrated.
There are months I do really well, and there are months I have like no money coming in, and then I'll make like a bunch of, and they're like, oh, how come you made zero this month and then 20 grand the next month? It's hard to relate that, especially if you're dating an Indian person. I found.
Yeah.
By the way, she's an influencer too. You guys should like collab.
Oh yeah.
And do stuff.
Dude, let's make it happen.
Yeah.
I was just martial arts in Turkey or something.
Let's do it.
Perfect.
Well, that's
Flying
another.
to Istanbul.
I'm so down. Like,
Let's do it.
Second I start losing hair, I'm coming to Istanbul.
Dude,
Airlines.
bro.
I'm gonna be there.
I can't. You're like you played the violin. You've done everything, and then you can he can also whoop ass. I really don't like that. You can't. do
What's
both.
your training?
So I grew up so the context for this, I have a younger brother who's like 2 years younger than me, and we both were playing, like we both were like, obviously we fought a lot, we did a lot of aggressive sports, so like we both played like football. He was like super good at football, I was like pretty trash, but we grew up playing like wrestling, like, and we did taekwondo, and we were both like one belt away from black belt, then we stopped, and then we did judo. We did MMA. I did MMA. I took a little bit further just to like get conditioned for wrestling season. And then like golfed all my life, which was like completely random
Opposite.
pivot. Yeah. We just were like a very
So
sporty
random.
like household. I feel like my dad would watch football. Like my brother and I would like play sports. My mom ran a marathon. Like we just like loved being active and staying active.
That's great.
Was your family really involved in the Indian community?
Yeah, super
Interesting.
involved. Yeah.
Huh.
Do you feel like that's influenced your social media? Because you have a lot of Indian presence. Even like the sketches you do with like white people or goris, like they like you did like a sketch where they were like, "Hey, I brought khichdi," and you were like, "What?" Yeah, you know, like he did the sketch where like all his white friends were like bringing Indian food, and he's like, "What are you guys doing?" But like obviously that came from you. So do you feel like, is that like an influence on your social media?
I think it does, man. I think it's like, I always say like the sketches that I have are like hyperbolized scenarios of what happened in my life. It's funny. So it's like while that event might not have actually happened, like things like that have happened where like I have friends who are like super tapped into like Indian culture, and I'm just like, whoa, like you? Like how is that even possible? And then I have like, you know, like when I first started social media, I only focused on Indian content. So I'd play my mom and dad and like do like sketches in that scenario. And I would make like sketches that are like relatable to my household. Again, hyperbolized scenarios of like things that would maybe happen in my household or like people around me. And it was mostly tailored towards like first generation South Asian people. So not people living in India, but people who are like me, who like our parents are Indian, but we grew up in the US, and like what are the struggles that we face?
Yeah.
And I didn't know, to be honest, that there was like a pocket of people that like felt the same way until I started making content. And I found this like ecosystem and this community of people that are like, yo, that happened to me like yesterday, or this happened to me like before. And I'm like, what? Like I thought it was just me. And then over time, my content evolved to a little bit more like widespread outside of like just the Indian diaspora. But then, yeah, like I throw in like the bones of like, you know, that's like my culture, that's my heritage. Like I will always throw in something that's like related to Indian culture, even if it's like with white people, and like we'll make it happen. And I think like it's fun for them too, because like they're also learning what these things are. They're like, what the hell is khichdi? And like I had one where it was
What
like
is khichdi?
Oh, sorry.
It's like risotto kind of.
yeah, it's kind of like
Nice.
risotto.
Okay.
It's like to us it's like our chicken noodle soup. When
Yeah.
you're
I
sick,
love
you
it.
want khichdi.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Khichdi.
what your mom makes.
It's really
I like,
good.
I like the name.
Yeah, it's a fun
Khichdi.
name.
It's
Yeah.
basically rice with turmeric
Okay.
and some spices.
You guys have to take me to a restaurant. What's the most expensive one?
You don't want to go to, oh no. Real
most
Indian food?
expensive one?
India
The flavor of India across
Yeah.
Laugh Factory. How's that one?
That's how Nihan does on stage. You gotta take me out to the most expensive.
Yeah.
No, let me just liquidate my
I feel like the best places are like in Artesian, like Little India, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Nice.
That's
They're
absolutely
good.
right.
But have you been to India Sweets and Spices? They're all different. India Sweets and Spices in Northridge. the best
Ooh,
one.
really?
Back of a grocery store.
Oh, amazing.
It's
Whoa.
authentic. It has actually the real, because not all of them have like the stuff I like: garlic naan, butter paneer. It's vegetarian.
Really?
It's delicious,
Dude,
It's like $6. It makes you. It's so cheap. I feel guilty when I pay. I literally was like,
overpay.
Like, I don't know. Like, she's like, how much is chai? She goes 50 cents more. I'm like, this is like, I feel like I'm stealing. The food's this much. I'm like, how is this
I
$6?
love it.
Dude, that's awesome. I need to go there.
And you know it's good because construction workers come in
Oh,
there.
yeah, dude.
The Mexican guys working at the Mexican restaurant,
They know.
They come there. That's when you know it's legit.
That's when you know it hits. That's when you know
But
it
he
hits.
cooks. Like you make
I
vlogs
do
where you
cook.
cook.
Dude, yeah, I do. I got super into cooking.
It's so hilarious. One of your videos, you're like cooking. You're like, hey, I don't know what I'm doing, so you can YouTube the recipe. if this doesn't come out right, just
That's
YouTube
amazing.
this.
Are you the cook in the relationship?
Dude, I think we both are. So you know what's insane? And like, I'm not even just saying this like gas my relationship up, but like, dude, she like cooks really good. By the way, she's Jewish, white and Jewish. So
Amazing.
like, but she cooks very good Indian food. Like very good.
Who taught her? Your mom?
I have no idea. I'm like she just kind of figures out recipes and like that's like her thing. She like loves to like learn about these things. And like she's like opening the dabba and so I'm like, what? Like how do you even
First
know
of all,
what
you
this
just
is?
said dubba, bro.
I
Like
know.
that. We got real Indian.
Yeah, we got
Put a
like
ring
we're
on
talking
it.
like
Yeah,
a
put a ring.
household, like a serious Indian household, man.
Did your parents care that she wasn't Indian?
Dude, no,
They didn't care.
No. What was interesting was because my brother, I honestly just never had the balls to bring a girl home. Like when
Okay.
I was dating, I was kind of just like the guy that was like, I'm not going to talk to my parents about this. I'm just going to do my thing. My younger brother was just more like reckless. And so he would be like, yeah, I'm dating this girl. Like he'd bring her home. Like my parents like, whoa. Like, and she's like,
Met her 2 days ago.
yeah. And so I think like low key because of him, like it kind of like made my parents just like understand like, okay, this is like the vibe. And
When-
then yeah,
When did your parents move to the States? Because they
it
sound
was
very
a while ago.
Americanized and like
Yeah,
open-minded.
It was a
and-
while ago. It was like
Cool.
I don't even remember. Like to be honest
Okay.
with you, like it was way before I was born.
Okay.
So it must have been like 35 years ago, something
Okay.
along those lines.
Nice.
But the good part is like I feel like they've just accustomed to like the American, like they are still very Indian. Like they do in like very traditional Indian things. Like I pray every single day. Like I'm super Desi.
Yeah.
But like
Oh,
also,
that's where we're different.
yeah.
No, but when you say praise, are you still
Threw that out
traditionally?
the window.
he's like, I think we could turn this podcast off.
You said that last time. When you say pray, like, so did
Yeah.
you grow up like in a Hindu household?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Went to the temple. I literally have like this thing that I got from
Right there with
yeah,
you,
there
bro.
it is, man.
Together
Come on,
with-
man.
yeah.
Yeah. And like I find I'm super religious, like, but it's like I'm not like I don't know. I don't go to,
Telugu,
like,
right?
I'm Telugu, yeah. I don't go to like the temples and stuff, but I pray every morning, just like a nice short, like 10-second prayer and just like align.
So are you
up my day.
vegetarian too?
No. So I
Okay.
we eat beef at home. Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is the craziest right here. Super religious. Like, I'm really- do you eat meat? Yeah, beef.
Yeah, we do.
You know the secret animal?
Eat pork and beef.
I eat all of it. Yeah.
But I'm super religious.
Nihan, are you religious?
Not really.
Yeah.
I mean, it says I'm Islamic like on my passport.
Okay.
No, yeah. Yeah. More spiritual.
But you said
Yeah.
you were, right?
Yeah.
We're
But you're not anymore at all.
What made that transition?
Watching my mom die.
Okay.
Yeah, because she was very religious. I used to pray. I used to pray every day. I used to go to temples and everything. After that, it shifted my whole perspective of like, I'm going through my own, I guess, transition of like
Yeah.
what I believe, what I don't believe. Not to bring this whole podcast down. No, but it did fuel me, because I think having a support system, some kind of higher power, like it can get you through a lot of tough times.
Totally.
Because like now, like when I go through tough times, I'm like, God, it sucks. Because I'm like, what do I fall back on now?
totally.
It's
But
like,
that's such a true thing that people go through. And if you don't talk about it, then everyone's just like kind of
yeah.
gatekeeping it. But it's
Well,
a
start a
real
podcast,
thing.
then you can bring it up and use it to
let it
therapize, dump my problems and such.
Yeah, dude, I'm here.
But
for
don't
it,
you
man.
feel like even when you step away, do you lean back to your old ways because that used to be your comfort before you stepped away? Like when you're going through a tough time, since you used to pray a lot and all those types of things, does it still come back for you?
Praying and stuff?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, so it doesn't. It's not like something you lean on again.
It's not even just that. It shifted like how I believe in everything now. You actually remind me a lot of myself, honestly.
yeah?
I just like doing so many different things. Like if you do a deep dive in me, like I just love coasting, I love vlogging, I love all this different stuff. You're so much better than me.
No,
honestly,
stop,
honestly,
no.
I see your stuff. You're like super pro at this age. It's very impressive.
Oh, thank you,
seriously,
man.
I can
No,
see
like-
why you've got a fan base. Before I felt like there was always going to be some higher power just pulling me through. Now I'm like this podcast or stuff I'm doing outside here, I'm like, if I don't work, like there's nobody coming to save me. There's no lifeboats coming. So it's kind of shifted like my way of my work ethic. Maybe it's a good thing. I don't know. We'll see in the end how it all plays out.
Yeah.
I think I'm kind of grateful for my mom in that aspect because, and I think growing up in like certain areas of Turkey, obviously like city and whatnot, but she's the youngest of 5 and she was like the most rebellious and like outgoing one. And she always was just like, go try and decide it for yourself on like what you believe or what you want to like and not like. And it gives you a very mature mindset from a young age. And I feel like, I don't know, for me, if you don't believe a little bit of everything, it's kind of, you're disservicing yourself because I think there's really beautiful things to learn and like to grow within each like religion or country or language.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Having this nihilistic attitude, you know, or everything's meaningless. Then it can go the exact opposite way where you're like, why even do anything?
Right.
You know?
Right.
So
nothing matters. Friends don't matter.
Friendships matter.
Yeah.
This doesn't matter.
I actually went through a small period of it when I was going through my own spiritual journey. I was doing a lot of Kundalini and stuff.
Yeah.
And it helped. Don't get me wrong, it was positive, but there was a moment my friend had to call me out on it.
Really?
Because I think he's like, dude, you're becoming kind of nihilistic. And at the time, I didn't even know what that meant. I was like, what? Oh, no, I'm like, and then, and then it's like, I feel like there's a part of the journey where it's like, but I'm still here.
Yeah.
I'm in this body. And while I'm here, I'm going to live. Even it's not to be remembered. I think that's all ego stuff. I don't care about legacy. I hope people never think about me after I'm gone. Like, live your own life and be joyful. Why you think about me? I'm dead.
I feel like that's also like, I mean, by having that mindset too, it's probably a sense of like liberation too, right? Where it's like, you're not pressured to like do something to like make this crazy stamp on the world or whatever, like footprint on like something. You just live your life, have a good time and like go out with a bang. Like, I feel like it's kind of cool.
When you make your content, is that like your attitude? Like, I'm going to make stuff that's funny to me, or do you have like a message behind your content?
Yes and no. I think like the way I am now is like the content that I make, it's important to me in some way, shape or form. And I want it to be funny, obviously for people, but it's also stuff that I want to make. Like, I think before in the past, when I started off, like you're making things that like you kind of don't want to make. And like, maybe it's like part of like kind of the rhythm as you're kind of doing this like consistently, you might make something that's like, like I know this is gonna do well, but like I don't want to make this. And then you get caught in that little ton of creators do. I have conversations almost daily with creators and like we all face the same thing. It's like, I know this is gonna do well, but like I just don't want to make it. But I think as you kind of mature in like the content creation journey, like you start to develop this like moral, like you understand your morals and grounds and like my content pillars. And like these content pillars are like what I do. I'm like, this is what I'm good at and this is what I want to do. And so there's a really good quote that one of my friends told me. It was like, make one for you, one for them. So it keeps your creative rhythm going, where it's like you could create something that like, you know, for example, like the cooking videos. It's like completely not related to like my content portfolio, but it's something I want to do. I just wanted to make food and like I wanted to put it out there for whatever reason. And like I have no intention of growing that, but it's like, that's something that like, that's a for me concept. Like people, if they want to watch it, they can. But then like the next day or whatever, it's like a sketch. And so they could like, that's for them and that's for us.
Outside perspective, your personality binds everything together. So even though I was watching your sketches and vlog, like your personality still shines through. Even when you're doing characters, it's like, I'm watching Sachin do this. So like, I can see why people have this closeness to your content.
Oh, thanks,
like,
man.
No, honestly, because I didn't really know much about you before.
I feel like that's essence. It's your energy. It's your essence. Even when we filmed earlier today, like you feel it. You know, I felt that.
Dude,
I felt that when we did that when we first met. We'll tap together. That headshot. When he walked out, I was like, we didn't even say this, but I was like, I like his vibe. You have that smile. You came in,
thank you, man.
and I was like, this
Very
guy's
welcoming.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
positive.
So
And like
kind,
sometimes when you meet, you know, Indian culture can get like very competitive for no reason. And I've never come from that, so I really appreciated the way you were so open. Like, what's up, man?
Yeah.
And you're like new, but you had a confidence about you, right? And so that was cool.
I have a
man.
question.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice for, I feel like I kind of struggle with this sometimes because I'm not a content creator, but I just like put stuff out just for fun. Like I like doing like TikTok voiceover stuff, but it's for me.
Yeah.
Do you ever think you struggle the line between like creating content and being an influencer and being an actor, do you think like it hinders you or helps you?
I think it can do both. And I think like, it's a really good question. I think I found myself, it's kind of, this is a long-winded way of me saying like I'll get to like kind of that question. But I think like when I first started off, like I grew up in traditional like acting. That was like what I did. I didn't do like film work. But I think when you start making content, a lot of the times like you fall into like Instagram acting or like this world. And if you're doing that every single day, like that becomes your default.
Yeah.
So naturally, sometimes when I'm like doing a self-tape or something, it's like, I'm way too animated. That's like that's my number one piece of feedback that my manager at like agent will send me. It's like, you're too animated. Like bring it down, bring it down, bring it down. And so I think it can, but I think it has to be sort of an intentional decision or intentional choice that you have to make. Like if you're making content, be intentional about like how you're going to make that content, how you're going to be when making that content. But if you're doing like your theatrical work or whatever the case may be very intentional about putting yourself in that mindset. And sometimes it takes like an hour to just sit down and like center yourself and be like, I'm here now. And like being very present about that. I think what I realized is that everything made sense for me when I was just more intentional about what I was doing. If I just like let things go loosey-goosey and like be like kind of in this gray zone, nothing worked. Nothing happened. I was in the same place every single day all the time. But like, I always go by this quote, like Mike Tyson said, he was like, everyone has a plan until you get punched in the face.
Yeah.
And like sometimes when you just like have this like perfect plan in your head and it's like all like loosey goosey and then you just get rocked, like a video flops or like you don't get the role or whatever the case may be, it really changes the way your outlook is.
That's great.
Yeah, great advice, dude. And I'm so happy you came on the podcast.
Dude, yeah,
and I'm
thanks,
sure
man.
a lot of people, young Daisies especially, will be inspired by hearing your stuff.
Oh, thanks though.
Where can we find you on social media?
Yeah, you can hit me up on at Scotchy, SCKACHI on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Yeah, if you want to laugh, hop in.
It's awesome. It's
Yeah,
really
thank
good.
you, man.
Yeah, you find me at the Pritesh Shah.
Nihan Gur official.
It's official.
Yeah. And you can find me at Tarun Shetty. And thank you guys for tuning in. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, join us on Patreon. And yeah, please check out Sachin's stuff. He's hilarious. And we will see you guys next time. Take care. Great. Awesome.
That was awesome, man.
Easy,
That was so
right?
cool.
Which
Yeah,
camera
yeah.
do I look at?
The middle one.
Oh.